Hey everyone, welcome to your daily dose of today. It is March the 21st, 2019. Just kind of first off the bat, again, thank you for your continued support. Thank you for following, liking me, sharing with your friends. I'm really quite humbled. Thank you so much. And I hope that this continues to be a benefit to you. I will probably go to doing some long form content a couple days a week, some interviews with some people I think that are great perspectives along the lines of what it is I'm trying to advocate for. And then also, I want to give you these shots in the arm every day, but we got to get beyond the anecdotes, right? It's more than just sound bites that we live in. How do we really execute on these things I'm talking about? So I want to be able to get into that. And this little 3-minute format, obviously I can't do that. So hopefully these shots in the arm are good. I can give some substance around that content with that. Also, I'm working on getting my website up and going from its current format, which was an old blog spot, to something that supports all this. But you know what? All those things can be built on top. The most important thing is getting the message out. Content is king. Things that are valuable you guys can consume. Again, I'm not really in this to build a media empire. I'm in here to try and make a difference, and these other things are just supporting pieces that I'll add later. So how was your today? Are you executing on the things that you set in motion yesterday? I hope so. If so, or if not, though, what went well for you? And what didn't work well, right? Let's think about those things, examine those things, and then ultimately, right, back to our question, what are you going to do about it today? What are you going to do to capitalize and reinforce those things that worked yesterday, to keep on that strong suit, to keep going strong, to work strong, to get more momentum? And if it didn't work, what are you going to do to change that today? And one of the things I actually want to talk about is something that's very near and dear to me, so I'm going to try and keep it short and not get on my soapbox. But do things happen to you, or do you participate in things happening? I live here in Appalachia. I love it. I love my hill folk people. I'm proud to be a Kentucky Colonel, and the work that goes alongside that. Some of the biggest hearted people here. But one thing I see is just so prominent here, and I travel the world, but especially here, is that people, they think in passive voice. Things happen to them. Calamity happens to them. People do things to them. The government does things to them. And while that certainly those all things could very well be true, the way you frame these things in your mind, it dictates your mood. It dictates your demeanor and how you respond to these things. And so what I try and get into people, even my children or people around here, when we talk about all the situation where you're in, people like to say, well, this happened to me and that happened to me. And sometimes we paint a very gloom scenario. You guys probably all know everybody, maybe you're that person, that everything always happens to them. Like they can't do X because this. And it seems the whole world's set against them. And so what I always like to say is I always like to take that strawman argument and say, let's just for a second, let's just assume, though we all know it's irrational, but let's assume that everybody is out to get you and everybody is out to hold you down. The question is, what are you going to do about it today? See, I told you this. I catch myself saying this all the time. If all your neighbors are conspiring against you, or everybody at work is conspiring against you, or everybody at church or wherever is conspiring against you and everything's, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to just sit there and let it absorb you? If you can't get yourself in shape because you feel like nobody is supporting you or nobody at home is getting on board with that, assuming that will never change, you can't change your environment, you can't change your circumstances or all that's going on, what are you going to do about it? You're not trapped. You are a person. And when you start actively thinking about that and say, you know what, like even if all these people are against me, I'm going to do this. And I'm going to make improvements here. I'm going to change the game this way. Or I'm going to change the odds this way. And you start doing this, and then you start seeing, wait a minute, I did have a positive impact. I did move one step closer to my goal here. And what you begin to see is that not only does you make progress so you feel good about yourself in some way, and you do have setbacks, everybody does. But you begin to make steps and steps and steps, and for every 5 forward, you might have 1 back, and then maybe it gets 10 forward and 1 back. But you begin to execute, and you know what you start to see? You start to see, wait a minute, the whole time it was me. It wasn't, my mom wasn't trying to hold me down, or my coworker wasn't conspiring against me or what have you. I've been in all those places. I thought about that. I've broken free from this mindset. And in order to do that, you have to start looking at executing yourself and looking at, I took this step. Start putting yourself in the point of action, in the point of position, and think about the things that you've done. If something doesn't work out, what was your role in that not working out? What could you have done better? Like, take this content thing that I'm doing here, for instance. Right now, I've got a big gain of followers. If I plateau and don't gain any more followers, or if I lose followers and people there, do I sit back, oh, well, Gary Vaynerchuk's out to get me. It sounds crazy, like he doesn't even know who I am. But, Simon Sinek's out to get me. They're growing all these followers and everybody's conspiring against me. No. What I have to look at, what am I doing what do I need to do to bring more value? Or how am I not adding value? Or what am I saying is just garbage or not helpful to people? See, I can take one of two stances. I can say, this is what it is, and so what? Or I can begin to look and say, what can I do differently to make an impact on people's lives, that people want to listen to what I say, that they want to share to others. So yes, that's them, but what can I do to actively participate in my success, to actively participate in the joy I get in life? Don't take a backseat. Don't be a passenger in your life. Be in the driver's seat. And that is the question you have to ask yourself. What am I going to do about it today? And you know what you're going to do? You're going to start right where you're at. You're going to take that first step. You're going to make those. You're going to start talking in the active voice and dictating what you're going to do differently to change the outcome of the game. You do that, and you'll start succeeding. This has been your daily dose of today. Today is looking great on you. Finish the rest of the day strong, and catch me tomorrow for your next daily dose of today.